Hey, it's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we try to help you help other people by taking innovation and opportunity, mixing it up with wisdom, and turning those things into real things like products and businesses, especially the ones that make money. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit today about 3 classic inventor mistakes that you can avoid. And unfortunately, I see a lot of inventors and a lot of entrepreneurs come through my door, and unfortunately they have made some of these mistakes already. So I don't want you to make these mistakes, and I don't want you to have to bear the pain of paying for these mistakes, because that's what I end up seeing when I see inventors that have already done these things. They have to pay for it, they have to say, oh, okay, now I got to start over, or now I've got to do this, or oh, I paid all this money and now I don't have anything to show for it. So let me help you by just talking about 3 of these fatal mistakes that you can definitely avoid. Now, the first one is getting the cart before the horse. And I'll see so many inventors and entrepreneurs that'll do this, where they'll just, the first thing they want to rush out and do is get a patent. They got a great idea, they've not done anything else, they've not built a prototype, they've not checked out the market, they've not investigated whether it's a good idea or not. They've not done any of these things. But the first thing they do is rush and make that appointment with an attorney, because they've got this napkin sketch and they're going to go up to the attorney and say, hey, make me a patent. And the attorney's going to say, well, yes, that's exactly what I do. I make patents for money. So I will write you one. That'll be $10,000. Now, you don't have a clue whether this is ever going to make the first dime, but you're going to spend all this money. Don't get the cart before the horse. You can do the same thing with prototyping. You can end up just working on this prototype and getting production ready. Maybe not so much prototype, but you're going to production. Let's say you build a prototype, it works and you love it and it's a great product, and you start building these things and you have not found whether you have a market or not. You don't know anything about the industry. You just think, this is great, we'll just put this on TV and they'll sell. Do you know how many products have been put on TV that flop, the ones you never see on TV because they don't make it? Don't get the cart before the horse. There's certain steps you have to go in and take these steps one at a time. We teach them in a lot of our online classes. We call them the idea steps. And they're smart strategy steps that you can take from going from just your idea to an actual product or business that makes money. Now, the second thing I want to talk to you about is focusing all of your time and money on just one step of the process. And I've seen this happen too. Going back to the whole patent thing, a lot of times I'll see people and they'll dump all their money on patents. I heard a real sad story one time of a person who just spent all their money. It was lots and lots of money. And they spent all of it on patents. And unfortunately, then all of a sudden, and they had a decent product, but they couldn't get it off the ground because they ran out of money spending all of it on patents and none of it on these other just as important or sometimes more important steps of the process. So don't focus all your time. Now, you can do this especially if you're an engineer type, if you're a tinkerer type, and you're working on that prototype. You can get focused on that one step of prototyping. And I've seen it happen where you keep wanting to add one more feature. You keep wanting to tinker with it. You want to perfect it just one more time. Let me go through one more iteration of this. Now, that's good to do when you're testing for functionality and you're doing it quickly and you're doing it cheaply and you're doing it through fast iterations, and that's what we teach. It's also good to do that with your demo type when you're going through different inputs that you're getting from an aggregate of potential customers. That's another good step you can take. But when you get all focused and you're just in your bubble universe and you're working on it and you're thinking, oh, I think this would be nice, let's add this. All of a sudden you've got all of these features. You've got one of those TV remotes with 1,000 buttons on it, and where people are going to want really just 3 of those buttons. Don't do that. You can spend a lot of time and money and waste a lot of time and money just by focusing on one step and one step alone. And a lot of times it'll end up trapping you in that step. Don't get trapped in a step and you know, honestly, psychologically, you get a little afraid. You get a little, you know, this other step, this next step, it involves something I'm not familiar with, and I'm a little afraid to kind of move to that next step. But this one's really comfortable here. This step I'm in, I'm just going to stay here a while and keep working on it, and you'll get trapped in that one step. Don't do that. The last thing I want to say, the last fatal mistake you can make is working in total isolation, and that sort of goes back to the other one where you're not being around people. People are important. You have to be around people. You have to connect with people. But if you work in total isolation, you wind up like Tom Hanks in Castaway, except you don't even have a soccer ball to talk to. You're trapped on the island. You have no input from anything else, from anywhere else. And guess what? Nothing happens. You've got your cool little pet there, your cool little pet prototype, your cool little pet invention, your nice little plaque on the wall of your patent that maybe you got, and you never got out of the building. Don't do that. So anyway, I hope these are helpful. I hope that you remember that wisdom is the light that shines on where you're about to step or where you're about to misstep. So if you gain that wisdom first, and this is my final thought on this, you gain that wisdom first, it will shed the light so you can step in the right direction. So anyway, I hope these are helpful. Again, I'm Don Skaggs, Empowered Inventing TV. If you're watching us on YouTube or some other social media outlet, be sure and like us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, help us build our tribe. And I will look to see you at one of the next meetings, workshop, maybe one of our online classes, or on the next video.